welcome in. Uh, my name is Andy, or Crow. You can call me either one. I'm a crow stitcher here on YouTube, and it is Flosstube 40, I think. Flosstube 40. Um, so, some of you might have noticed that I'm a day late. I usually get these up on Mondays. Oh, today is Tuesday, April 29th, 2025. Um, but I had simultaneously a great stitching week and a bad stitching week. Um, and I needed a day to kind of reassess. Well, more than a day, but anyway. Um, so I had been, for anyone who's been here for a little while, you will have known that I made all my wheels for all the groups. I have my priority pieces that I want to get full coverage that I want to get to 5%, and it's not focusing, but there we go. I have my regular priority pieces that I want to finish first. I have my legacy full coverages that I want to get to 3%, etc., etc. And so each week I was spinning the wheel and working on whichever piece it landed on and to like got the wheel complete, and then was resetting the wheel. So I actually did do that with the priority parade full coverage to 5%, which is why none of those are blacked out, because I got through the wheel and reset it. But lately I've been noticing that there are some things that I just either that I really want to work on that didn't come up on the wheel spins, and would be a while till, especially for the regular pieces and the full cover, or sorry, the legacy pieces, because I have a lot of them. Then it would be a while till they came up again. And so working on the ones that did come up was more of a chore, because I wanted to work on something else but couldn't because the wheel didn't pick it. So, um, look at my can cozy. Isn't it adorable? It's a needle felted. I got it from oh my god, I just had her name and then it completely Crystal. She's on. I found her on Twitch, and she has an Etsy shop. If I remember, I'll try to find it and link her below. But isn't it adorable? Look how gorgeous that is. Anyway, um, so it was becoming kind of a chore, and I was like, but I want to work on these things that hadn't come up on the wheel. So, um, where was I going with this? Um, so I've decided to. I need to get my Halloween, and then I started working on It's Halloween night and got two over 2,000 stitches in on it in one day, and this is what it looks like now. It is now, the moon's completely done. Um, the moon's completely done, and it's now at 30% total. There's more over there behind all this. I'm not going to take it out, but there's the whole left side done down there. And I was like, I don't want to put it. I didn't want to put it away to work on the other things that came up on the wheel. So the wheels worked for a little bit and now they're not working, and so now I needed to reassess. So this week's floss tube is going to be not a normal one, I guess. Um, I guess I'm gonna just go over kind of what I want to do now, and then how the floss tubes will go forward. Um, so what I'm gonna do is I've been really into It's Halloween Night, so I'm just gonna kind of make that my quote unquote focus piece. Not focusing on it. I do want it done this year, but not focusing on it like I need to get X number of stitches done each week. Mm-mm. That doesn't work for me. Like I said, I did over 2,000 stitches in one day, and then there's weeks that I don't even get 2,000 stitches in on it. So, I'm just gonna when the mood strikes me, I'm gonna pick it up and stitch on it, and I'm just gonna leave it in the Q snap, move it as I need to, etc. Um, then I've been really Clue, the Clue game. I'm gonna take a break from my Clue game. Last week. Okay, well, I've just been noticing in general the whole year. I've, what are we? Basically, we're in May, right? We're almost in May on Wednesday or Thursday. Anyway, a couple days and we're in May. And I've only worked on 4 Clue pieces this year. And only one of those pieces was only worked on 1 week. So the other 3 pieces have taken up the rest of the year of Clue stitching. And I need a break from that. It's fun, and I like solving the murders. I like solving, who did the murder with what weapon, which whip, which room. But I need to find a way to, and I don't really think it's possible. Maybe adding more projects in, maybe putting it on a wheel. I don't know. Right now I pick out of the card out of the envelope. Um and I've just been picking the same damn projects all year. Which is nice. They get a lot of work on it, but part of the reason I did the game was so that I would get variety and I would get a cycling of projects going through, and all of the Clue pieces would get, like, there's pieces in here that have not even been called yet. Free Palestine hasn't been called. Witches of Salem hasn't been called. Aunt Tizzy hasn't been called. So I need to reassess Clue. I might put a stitch count limit on them. Like, once it gets to 3,000 stitches, that's it. It gets replaced with another piece. The ones that I have in there right now are all to work until they're finished pieces. So that might also be part of the problem. Maybe I just need to, once I get 3,000 stitches in from the Clue, it's replaced. So for right now, I'm taking a break from Clue. I'm reassessing, and it'll probably come back, but in a slightly different way. I'm still going to continue with my new starts. The new start, that was a saga in and of itself. So the new start I pulled last week was Night of the Raven from Cross Stitch for Everyone. Hold on, I need to find it because I took it off markup. Yeah, you heard that. You heard that right. I took it off of markup. Where are my... God damn, I don't know how to use my own... Oh, there you go. Okay. But it should still be on... didn't delete it from. Okay. It's this piece. It was. Damn it. Okay. It was this piece. It was Night of the Raven by Cross Stitch for Everyone. And I loved this piece. Loved, past tense. Because when I first saw this piece, and why I bought this piece, because immediately what I saw was this awesome looking raven on top of a bloody skull. Okay? And I started it. I started it on 28 count, top left, and it's all black. It's all 310, solid 310 up there. And then I took it out to show Dar. And I noticed that this crow has 3 wings. And this crow, I don't know what the hell is going on right there, but it's got some issues. So this was clearly an AI piece. And so now, whenever I look at it, all I see is the excuse me, the crow that has 3 wings. And I can't stand it. It bothers me, it irritates me, it annoys me, and I'm rather pissed at myself that I've had this pattern for quite a while, probably a couple of years now, and I just noticed it. So, but I had already started it, and I already had like 300 some stitches in. So, I thought, well, and I already cut the fabric, like everything. And I didn't want to waste it. But I couldn't stitch it because it annoys me that much. So I was like, okay, well, me being me, there's got to be another piece I have that would fit on that fabric that has a solid corner of 310. And I had 3 to choose from. 2 of them would have required me washing the grid lines out and and putting them back in because they didn't, the corner of the piece didn't sit on the grid line, it sat off the grid line. And I was too lazy to do that. So I chose Alter Drake by Ann Stokes, charted by Tried Geeks, which looks like this. And it's a solid corner of 310. So, and it will fit on that that piece of fabric that I had cut. So I'm not going to show you because it's just 310. Nothing fancy. But so I marked everything I had from Night of the Raven off on this pattern, and then I continued with it. And I now am at 490 stitches out of 90,720, and I'm at 0.54%. So it's not a huge piece, and it'll fit nicely on the fabric. So, but that really irritated me. That really bothered me. Because I loved that piece. Like, I loved the skull and the raven. And just the vibe of that piece. But once I saw that, I couldn't unsee it. And I was so early on in the piece that part of me was grateful that I noticed it when I did. But I knew that that's all I could see when I looked at that was that one crow. So and I bought that like I said a couple years ago, before AI was even really that talked about, so I didn't even know at the time to look for something like that. But definitely now, you know, I'm not going to get into the whole AI discussion here, whether it's good or bad, or I have my opinions and they're my opinions, and I'm not going to get into them. But whether or not you're okay with AI, please just really, especially for full coverages, which I think is what it's mostly used for, please really, really study the image before you purchase it. Don't just do like what I did and be like, oh, that's an awesome raven on a skull, and didn't really look at the rest of the piece. Because whether or not you're okay with AI, you want the image to look right, you know. And sooner or later, you're going to notice something like that, and hopefully you notice it before you've stitched all of it and you're down there and stitching that one bird. So just take a little extra time to look at a piece in full, in detail, and make sure that everything is as it should be. Nothing has, 3 feet or 12 toes or, one ear or whatever. Okay. So that was that. That was last week's new start. I'm going to continue with the new starts. This week, I spun yesterday because I wasn't sure if I was going to film or not this week. So I did spin, and it landed on, I took a screenshot. It landed on Dinosaur Battle, which is one of the first, if not the first, full coverage chart I ever purchased. And I'm just starting it now. So artwork is by David. Hold on. David something. David Penfound. Charted by Hade. It has, and I did get the max color because I didn't understand what that meant at the time when I purchased it, like 4 years ago. But nevertheless, I don't do max colors now. But nevertheless, it is the max color. It is the regular size, I think. It doesn't say super size, so I'm going to assume it's just the regular size max color. 700 by 449. I'm going to do it on 22 count. It has 314,300 stitches, and it looks like this. Because I never grew out of my dinosaur phase, and this is absolutely amazing. And it's going to take me forever to get to a dinosaur, but, that's life, I suppose. So that will be this week's new start. Okay. Next week starts the Giro d'Italia. And we had a little poll going on between 2 pieces, Seeds and Watchmen. And Seeds got a couple last minute votes, but Watchmen definitely won. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Completely reversed that. Watchmen got a couple last minute votes for a total of 8, but Seeds won with 12. So I will be working on, for Giro d'Italia, I'll be working on Put Seeds in Your Pocket by someone. Massandra Gifts. It looks like this in color. For Ukraine. And for how this works. Oh, I did have a couple people ask me where to find the stages for Giro d'Italia for the like the kilometers that they race each day or that they bike each day. So I will try to remember to put a link to that in the description box below. But basically, I'm just going to stitch whatever number of kilometers they bike a day is the number of stitches that go in on this, and it will have 3,200, 3,400, something like that stitches by the end of the race. It starts I want to say the 9th, but I could be wrong. Hold on. Allow me to open up my um um my spreadsheet that I made for this specific purpose. I am somewhat organized. Joe Detaya, 2025. It will have 3,411 stitches added to this by the end of the race. Oh, and I wanted to look on when it started. It starts the 9th, May 9th. So this is where I am. I started top center. I'm holding it back here so you can see the fabric well, because this is very accurate. It is the Aquarius 18 count Ada by Be Stitch Me. It was the June 2024 fabric of the month. God, I just lost my needle minder. Hold on. Okay. So this is where I am. So this will get me probably about 50% of the way through by the end of the race. And side note, I've been getting really into cycling races. They're great to watch while stitching. There's like the Tour de Flanders that just happened, and like all of the ones in Belgium, the classics, I think they're called. They're great. So that'll happen. And then I'm just gonna pick whatever else I want. Like if something's calling me, just that I want to work on, I'll work on it. If I can't really decide what I want to work on and it doesn't really matter, then I'll spin a wheel. That's how it's gonna go. I do have a finish to show you though, because Earth Day was the 22nd, and so I have the Cross Stitch for the Earth by Emma Congdon book, and I like Emma Congdon's style, but a lot of her patterns are too like live laugh lovey for me. But I love Earth, like and taking care of the earth and environmentalism and all that kind of stuff. So this book was a no-brainer. And I just have not done, I want to do so many in here. You can see all my notes. But I've just never got to it. So for Earth Day, I said, you know what? There's this group of 4 and I want to stitch all of them. But I decided that for Earth Day, it would like Earth Day every day. So I started that. And I did it on, this was a fabric of the month by Oak Crown Studios. It's called Goldenrod. Oh, was it yes, it must have been, because I wouldn't have purchased this otherwise. Goldenrod, and a 32 count linen. It's Oak Crown Studios. And it's this lovely yellow, and I thought, you know what, that's going to look perfect. And I have a big enough of a piece that I can do all 4 on the same fabric, which is awesome. And again, I just kind of got stuck in and I got it finished. Isn't that adorable? Let me straighten it out a bit. I'm not going to take the time to get my board out because I'm not really showing much of anything today. gorgeous on that like, look at that. I had such a great time stitching this. It was so fun. It was so, I want to say easy, but it was fun. It was enjoyable. Lovely colors like the greens and the blues. I loved it. And on this fabric, again, this was another fabric of the month fabric that I got, and it was this bright yellow, and I was like, what the hell am I gonna do on this, you know? But I kept it. I didn't destash it. These are perfect for it. So I love that. So it's staying in there and in its project bag until I do the other three, and then I'll think about FFOing them. I'm probably just going to do it in hoops like it had in the book. I can do those kind of finishes. Those are easy finishes. I can do those. So, since I'm not using the wheels anymore for the time being, that's how I've been keeping track of if I got something to the designated percentage, either 3% or 5%, is I would take it off that wheel and then put it on the other wheel. So if a priority piece full coverage got to 5%, I took it off that wheel and I put it on just the regular priority parade piece, priority wheel. But since I'm not really using those, I thought, okay, well, I I had these foam boards, right? Because I had this grand idea that I was going to be a finisher, and I was going to finish all my pieces and do like flat folds and all this kind of stuff. And no, that's not going to happen. But I got like a box of these like really cheap. So I had all this board, and so I thought, well, why don't I use them for something? So I took and I got fancy what am I trying to say? Metallic markers. And I wrote the priority to 5% pieces. And then the legacy, there's a lot more legacy pieces. Legacy to 3% pieces. And so when I finish one, or when it reaches the percentage, I'm going to cross it off and check mark it. Then, once all of these are checked off, the priority is going to hit it first, I would imagine, even though it's a higher percentage. I'm going to move over and do another priority to, I don't know, 10%. And then put all the pieces that still have yet to get to 10%. And just keep going. So I can show that to you when something gets checked off, but that's mostly for me to keep track because I'm not using my wheels at the moment. And I think that's it. I think that's all I have. That's all I'm going to show. I worked on a lot of things. I'm still going to do the top three, the three that got the most stitches, 2 honorable mentions, the new start. So the format of the floss tubes will stay the same. It's just how I'm going to pick my whips is changing. So this week I just wanted to kind of go over that, talk about the new start fiasco, and we'll start fresh next week with showing whips. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm still gonna try to do what am I trying to say? Stitch with me's. I'm not doing events this year. Well, okay, that's a lie. I'm not doing craft shows this year for my business. However, there are 2 events that I'm doing this year with one of the bookshops that sells my candles. and they have a couple of they're like a murder mystery bookshop, so my candles are perfect for them. But they have two events throughout the year where they bring authors in and all that kind of stuff, and they let me um, come and sell my candles. So, and that's this weekend. So I hopefully will get both Stitch with Me's up this week, but it might just be one or the other. I'm not sure. Um, but then next week we're back to normal with everything. So that's that. Have a great rest of the week. If I don't see you for the Stitch with Me's, I'll see you next Monday. I promise for the Flosstube. Stay healthy, stay safe. We'll see you next time, and happy stitching.